Aloha, welcome to the Truth and Justice in Hawaii show. My name is Napua Hueu and I will be your host this evening. Auntie Mahea is away in Phoenix right now, so we're going to step in and take over the Truth and Justice show, and tonight it's going to be the Aloha Revolution show. It's a revolution, a movement, a positive force to act as a solution to a lot of the environmental issues that are facing our entire world at the very moment that we speak right now. And so I think it's really important that we organize and get together and get ready for a positive revolution. And so Auntie Mahea is away in Phoenix at the Star Knowledge Conference. And tomorrow she'll be sharing a little bit about Huna principles, and her presentation will be streaming live at 10 a.m. Hawaii time. And you can go to starknowledgeconference.com to see that and watch Auntie. Even though we're here, we can still watch her and catch her and all her good vibes that she's putting out to the world on behalf of Hawaii. Tonight, I was just going to share with you about the Revolution Aloha. But I think that it's really important that I share about who I am, because it has a lot to do with the revolution and how I thought of it and why I thought of it. So I assume that I will tell you a little bit about my life story, and hopefully it's not too boring. I'm sure it won't be though, because it's pretty fun. And I grew up on the island of Maui. My mom was from Kipahulu, my dad was from Keanae, and they met at Hana School. Napua Hueu was born. My grandparents are generational taro farmers, and so my dad has taken on the role of full-time taro farmer right now, and that's kind of the chunk of the reason why I have thought of the Revolution Aloha, was because I have this extra foot in the taro patch, and so it brings a lot of awareness and a lot of wisdom and knowledge to go through struggle, such as farming taro, which is a year-long process, and there's a lot of effort that takes to going into farming kalo and making poi, which is like the best sustenance for the whole world. And so my taro farming history from my family is mainly the reason why I thought of Revolution Aloha. And the other reason is because I have my dad, Aukai, who is a kalo farmer from Keanae, and my mom from Kipahulu, who I would like to call I like to tell everybody that I'm a Hawaiian hippie, because my dad is Hawaiian and my mom is hippie. But what I mean by hippie is I mean environmentally aware. I think that we should like revise what hippie means, because a lot of people like to act like it's a funny like joke or you know, it's just funny, but it's an environmentally aware state of being. And I think that if there were no hippies, then gosh, where the heck would we be right now if there were no hippies? But so I'm grateful to be a hippie Hawaiian, because I have this a little bit of awareness from being a Hawaiian, a little bit of awareness from being a hippie, and my mom making me recycle, and my mom making me do compost and all that. And so I have this fusion of genealogy, and it's brought me to this point where I'm going to put a lot of things on the side that were important in the past, and I'm making a commitment and a decision to live just a little bit more aware. And I'd like to call anybody who's living this commitment and living this solution a part of the Revolution Aloha. It's kind of like an army or a force or a group that only does everything positive and thinks positively and lives positively, and you follow in the rules of aloha, malama, and kuleana. And those are a few of my favorite Hawaiian values that I think the whole world needs to really kind of slow down and pay a little bit more attention to, because they're really simple terms and maybe they just need a little bit of a briefing. So I hope that the Revolution Aloha can be a briefing for people and introduce them to the ideas of loving, and introduce them to the ideas of caring, and introducing them to the ideas of respecting and living up to their responsibility, because we all have a responsibility, although sometimes it's really hard to maintain that responsibility. It needs to be a priority. There are too many environmental crises and things going on that are of the negative kind, and I'd like to just like be done with that, because it's not really a part of what I see in the future. I see like happiness and joy and peace and unity. And so we're going to try and scoot out all the negative, unhelpful, violent, you know, all that really heva kind of stuff. And we're going to refocus our lives on the Revolution Aloha. And so I have one video that I'd like to share with you before I start talking about more history. And it's called Rolling Through, and it's just basically a 1-minute tour of Keanae, which is my hometown. And I hope you enjoy it. It should give you an idea of how beautiful and how graceful this beautiful place is. So enjoy Rolling Through. Aloha, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that short little 1-minute video. I edited it, just added music to it, but it was a really cool little trip through Keanae. I wish I could show you more, but another time. So along with the experiences of my life, there are some, like I told you, environmental crises that are really bothering me right now. And so I'd like to introduce my first guest. And it happens to be Faith Chase, who is my mother. Hello, Mom.
Hi.
It's nice to have you on my show.
Thank you. I think it's important to mention my maiden name, Eubank.
Okay, recap. Faith Eubank is her name, not Faith Chase. Yes, sorry, Mom. Okay, so I brought my mom on because she was outside, and I figured that she's the best person to have on and maybe substantiate some of the things that I said about you being a hippie. I didn't mean that, you know, in any like wrong way. I'm just like trying to get across to the world that why do you think hippie is like a good word to describe like an environmental person? Like, why do you think I use the word hippie? Because, you know, I tell a lot of people that, like, I'm half hippie, half Hawaiian. Why do you think I use that word?
First of all, that's kind of new to me, but that's all right. I'll just tell you my testimony of being a hippie.
Yes. What's the hippie life like?
I think when I was little, my parents went, when we were, where I was raised and how I was raised, my stepfather, he was in the Peace Corps. So he had a really natural ability to live off the land and to be resourceful, and it was just part of our life. I mean, I think we had the very first windmill on the whole east side of Maui. I got grounded one time because I left the light on too long and stuff like that. So I grew up really paying attention to water and source of energy and stuff like that. But what was really interesting that when you went into Hawaiian immersion and I learned the language, because it's a requirement for a makua to learn the language too, I had a lot of memories of conversations behind me when I was little from all the aunties and tutus in Hana. And I mean, the way they speak is just like a song. And so I kept having these memories of conversations maybe behind me in May Day, and hearing the aunties talk about my beautiful lei and my parents. And I didn't really know what they were talking about, but in time when I learned the language, I saw that some of the older kupuna in Hana, they really seemed to respect my stepfather for what he was doing. And it took me many, many years, you know, through my own college waste time kind days, for me to come back and realize that that he had the respect of the elders because he was doing it the old way. And so that was really interesting in a full circle moment, because, you know, when I was being raised, I was like, what? Go milk the cow? You crazy? You know, I complained about my life. We had a cattle ranch. We had a garden. I was always grounded, go weed the garden and, you know, compost. And it was just a really rough life. And I used to yell to the cows, the only people that could listen to me, and say, you know, I want to get out of the boondocks. But now, thinking back, I realize what he was trying to build and the kind of knowledge he was trying to infuse. And I think he just came back to visit last year, Papa, and he was really proud to see and hear all his grandchildren speaking. I mean, bring him to tears, because he's sort of living in a urban life in Sedona, Arizona right now. I mean, doing nice things, but he's far
we're going
from
back to the Aina.
Yeah, we're going back to the Aina, and he's a little far from where he started, but he was actually the one that planted the seed. So I kind of knew I was a hippie because, you know, kids call other kids names, and but I didn't know what it really meant until I was much older. And so it's you're right, Hawaiian hippie is a good way to put it. And I think we have actually, not to drop a tear or anything, but we have family members, or you have family members in your Hawaiian family that were close to the land and have passed. I mean, Tutu Man involved. He was just famous for telling his stories and living the indigenous ways and stuff. But even young men of the Keanae area who were ma'a to the land and that lifestyle. And I think if they were here today, they might be proud also to say that they might have been a Hawaiian hippie too, because they, you know, barefoot, no shirt, always in the Aina and stuff like that. So yeah, good buzzword. Yeah, good buzzword.
So yeah, that's my favorite way to describe myself as a Hawaiian hippie. I think it just gets to the point.
Yeah,
kind of tells the story.
I think that's funny how you tell the story of who you are.
Yeah.
Can I tell Tutuban's story about coming back to school to Punana?
I guess so. Yeah,
that was
supposed to be a part of my introduction. Was I talk more about. I was a part of the Hawaiian Immersion Program, Kula Kaiapuni. That's how I know Auntie Mahea. Her daughter, Ihilani, is my best friend. I grew up with her since kindergarten, and she pretty much is my second mom. Auntie Mahea and Ihi are my favorites. And so I went to Hawaiian Immersion, Kula Kaiapuni, Punana Leo as well, but that's preschool. I went to Kula Kaiapuni at Kalama, Kula Kaiapuni Kekaulike, and graduated from the Hawaiian Language Immersion Program. So I think that gives me a lot of like my awareness too, right? As far as like the motives for the Revolution Aloha, a lot of it stems from Kula Kaiapuni. But you can tell the story about
Well,
Kula
it's
Kaiapuni.
just because it's kind of funny how it comes back to the taro patch. And Grandpa, many people know him. Many people have recorded him. He has a lot of oral testimony available in the UH library system. But when I was young in high school dating your father, you know, he was always on his tractor. He was always working. He was always busy, and he kind of, you know, more like grumps than gramps sort of. But he was loved by all. And the one day that I remember him being the most emulant is when he came home from the taro patch. And I think we were just washing the cars, and he's like, "Hey, you guys, I just didn't go to the taro patch with these babies. They only come up to my knees, and they all talking Hawaiian, all of them. And he was just smiling from ear to ear. And I never got to see him so happy in all the years that I knew him. And I was like, what is he talking about? And Punana Leo wasn't even a buzzword yet either. You know, it was very early. It was 1986, 87. And so I'll never forget that, how bright he was and how shining and joyful he was. And so when I was in college, or I think he finished up his story saying, I like my grandbabies, go to school, you know, and so there was no grandbabies at the time. So when I was in college and your dad called and said that you got, if you got accepted, would I come home early from going to school? And all I could think about was him coming back from the taro patch telling that story. So it's just kind of interesting how that was a poignant point, and he was in the taro patch and he came up, and it was just nice to see the
that
kupuna.
little moment altered your life forever.
Altered your life forever.
Oh, yeah, my life. But yours.
But that's my story of how you're, yes, I did meet your dad at Hana School, but that's...
Okay, so Hawaiian immersion had a lot to do with bringing me to the point of Revolution Aloha. I think that it's time that I make my public announcement, statement, introduction about Revolution Aloha, because I didn't do that yet, and I was supposed to. And it might give everybody a little bit better of an idea about what the Revolution Aloha actually is, because I know I told you it's a positive movement, but there's a lot more to it than that. So this is my speech I wrote a couple days ago, and I hope that it tells a story. This is a public service announcement sponsored by the good folks at Akaku Recording Studios. My name is Napua Hueu. I am from the Ko'olaumoku of Maui. My homeland of Keanae continues to provide my community with a subsistence-rich lifestyle, yielding benefits such as family cohesion, health, happiness, and community well-being. I am convinced the genius of sustainable and indigenous knowledge and practices are the solution to many of the prominent struggles we face as a society. It is my genuine passion to share the environmental awareness I've gathered primarily as a descendant of Hawaii and graduate of Kulakaiapuni o Maui to initiate a positive movement for the benefit of all keiki, makua, and kupuna, no ka ohana I hala I ka po a nakanaka e ku ana I ke ao, to ensure health, happiness, and overall community well-being for the people of Hawaii. Promoting environmental awareness to encourage community organization are the primary objectives of this mission. We encourage a restoration of relationships with neighbors and balance with nature. We will take prompt steps towards a more sustainable lifestyle to maintain a respectful and reciprocal relationship with the Aina. Let us bring the environmental crisis full circle by embracing this struggle to become responsible local leaders and world heroes. The issue of most pressing concern is the need for safe, nutritious, locally grown, and healthy food. Through the habits of eating local and discarding waste responsibly, we can make tremendous progress in moving from pollution-causing technologies to a more efficient way of living. Properly managing our natural resources for generations to come, this will ensure the continued health and happiness of the people. We support government and industry leaders who employ environmentally positive and lasting solutions that will conserve our natural resources, and we invite all the people of the world to join our movement for unity. So that's the chunk, gist, major section, introduction, words, describing the Revolution Aloha. And so I will break it down a little bit more because my sister claims that it's a little bit wordy. So I just want to make it a little bit unwordy with more words. And here we go. So I'm from the Ko'olaumoku of Maui, Keanae. We already went through that. You know where that is. It's a really beautiful place. Mile marker 16. It continues to provide my community with a subsistence-rich lifestyle. And what that means is that my community continues to live a subsistence lifestyle, meaning that they gather most of their own food and prepare most of their own food themselves. And thankfully, we live in an environment that successfully provides for all of those needs. It's really rich, really rich with water and life, because water is life, so we'd like to conserve our water, turn off the faucet. I am convinced that the genius of sustainable and indigenous knowledge and practices are the solution to the struggles we face as a society. I had a really hard time trying to break it down to what the real problems of the world are, because there's so many. There are just too many to even count. So I came to the point of realization that the most natural thing and way you can live is the native way and the indigenous way, which is what our ancestors and what our kupuna have been telling and retelling us for so long. And so I think that that's a good guide to solving the problems of the world, is maybe just living how they had outlined that we should live. And that's like my number one thing that I'm pretty much settled on right now, is that we're going to use indigenous knowledge to solve the problems of the world. And it seems like a little bit too simple, but it is. And so it's my passion to share the environmental awareness I've gathered. I'm going to quit my side job. I usually sell craft and culinary products online at thebakeryboutiquehawaii.com, and that's usually what keeps me busy all the time. But I think that I am going to not shut down my website or whatever, but I'd like to really put it on the side and focus on the Revolution Aloha, because I don't know, it's a really strong passion for me right now. I don't know if it's just like everything that's going on in the world, but I believe that it needs to be my number one priority, and hopefully everybody wants to like make it their number one priority. I'm hoping that this is a unity kind of deal. A Akaku thing is what I like to say. I remember hearing that a long time ago when I was 9. It's a Akaku thing. That means it's a us thing, and it's a everybody thing, and you are a part of everybody. So welcome to the Revolution Aloha, and go to revolutionaloha.com and see what it's all about, so you can get involved, because I need all the people that I can get to join my movement. And the main thing that I want to do is spread the awareness about the environment, so that everybody is instigated to get together and organize and talk to each other and meet their neighbors, because that's kind of like old style Aloha way, is that everybody knows everybody here. And so if you don't know everybody, you should try and get to know everybody. And definitely go meet your neighbors. That's step 1. And please just go right next door and check your neighbors. Do me a favor. And the next bit of business is that I want to encourage a relationship with nature, because I think that we're all a little bit disattached. There's a lot of technology, and there's a lot of little distractions here and there. Instagram, Facebook, I'm just going to call them out. I spend a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook, but I have kind of directed my time to just promoting everything about the Aina, and everything about the state of the Aina, and everything about the solutions to malama Aina. And I started editing a video about a year ago. It's still not quite done, but I have the trailer for it, and I'd like to play that for you in just a second. It's a video that is supposed to communicate the concerns of East Maui residents and the water issue. And so here's a trailer. It's just about 1 minute and 30 seconds long. I wish I could show you the actual video, but it's not ready for you yet. So I'll have to show that to you another time. And this video is entitled Keanae Maui, the trailer. So have fun with that. Cue the video. And if not, then you can just still look at me. Okay. They're going to figure out the video trips for you. Just hold on. So the other thing is that I'd like to take prompt steps towards a more sustainable lifestyle. And basically that just means being a little bit more on it. And number 1, live aloha. Number 2, malama Aina. Number 3, live up to your kuleana. So I'll explain more about that maybe later, but I'd really like to show this video. Hopefully it happens. And what else can we share? We're good. Oh my goodness. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It was really fun, wasn't it, Kama? This is my new guest, Kamalani Pahukoa. I would like to introduce her. Hello, say hello.
Aloha.
Kamalani is a descendant of the Ko'olaumoku as well. Kamalani, what are your thoughts on being from Keanae? What's your favorite part about being from Keanae?
How resourceful it is, how resourceful the whole place is, the good vibes, learning from my kupuna, from my grandma, from just watching and listening, and just being intact with nature, I guess.
I think it's a really good, it's a really good book. Keanae is kind of a really good book. You could probably go meet a lot of different authors and they'll tell you a bunch of really important, crucial things for your survival. What would be one example of survival tactics? Kalo farming.
Yeah, definitely kalo farming, fishing, hunting. I mean, I don't hunt enough, but I definitely have learned in the past 3 years, and I love it. Preparing and gathering my own food, learning from my uncles, watching them, pretty much living around water, learning how to be so resourceful with everything that's surrounding us, from little bananas, apple bananas, to the wild guavas, and
yeah, we've seen a transition, as in we do not eat primarily from like natural resources. It seems like we eat a lot of fake food, and by fake I mean genetically modified, and that's kind of a big word. You know, it has a lot of mystery to it, like what is GMO and genetically modified organisms, but it's basically food that was made by man and not by nature. And so GMOs is a really big issue for us because we enjoy real food.
Yeah, I have a good example. I used to be in love with hot Cheetos. I would have like a bag every 2 days. And I've come to take chili pepper shots, just chili pepper water.
To give your
to take away from that the bad food.
So that's a good solution.
Yeah, chili pepper water.
If you need
it's good for you, your sinuses, and it's better for you. It's not as salty and fake.
Okay, so Hawaiian chili pepper water is a good alternative to hot Cheetos. And change the topic. My sister says we should change the topic. Okay, let's talk about chemtrails. Chemtrails is the second best thing to talk about in regards to the reasons why I started Revolution Aloha, because my aunt told me that there's something that's burning all of my plants.
She's scared.
Look at my leaves. They have all of this yellow burn on it, blah, blah, blah. So I listened to her a little bit more and a little bit more, and I put it together that there are actually fake, polluted
by our own people.
Okay,
supposedly
there are chemicals.
Part of everyone.
There are chemicals falling from the sky. I hate to be so forward about it, but
crazy.
Yeah, there are chemtrails that drop. Okay, there's a lot of things that they're dropped, but basically it's unnatural and it's unnecessary, and we don't want it in Hawaii. So if anybody important is listening that has anything to do with the chemtrails, I would like you to please halt all your operations because we don't have time for that.
They say it's aluminum in the sky, and so the reason the sunsets have been so vibrant and bright lately is because of the aluminum within the clouds, within the atmosphere and the troposphere.
Yeah,
it reflects. So that's why it exaggerates. I mean, we've had beautiful sunsets, but you can tell what is natural sunsets and what is chem clouds, and just during the whole day.
It's hard to tell though what's real and what's fake now.
I can tell.
You can tell. Okay, my sister can tell, and so can I. So watch out.
You have to be connected to Mama Nature.
Okay, yeah, so chemtrails is another one. We'd like that to stop, please. We'd also like GMOs to stop, and especially we would love Monsanto to please leave Hawaii, Maui in particular. I don't have room for you here because it's a little bit, It's a little bit not good. They're growing fake corn in Kihei, and it's contaminating the rest of my island, most likely.
Again, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
We could be growing some lauhala to make some slippers.
Yeah.
Because people steal my slippers at the beach.
Okay. Oh, that's another thing is that live aloha is don't steal. What else don't you do when you live aloha?
Don't you do?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what should you do to instigate aloha. And that's just understand your surroundings, and if you say that you love the ocean and you're always surfing and you're always just fishing, or you need to give back somehow. So you're at the beach and you see a little cigarette butt. It's little, it's nothing, just leave it there. Walk by. But no, it's not little. I mean, honu eat it. Everything eats it. It gets in the little manini offshore fishes. But so everything helps. And just know that if you're one of those who say you love the ocean and you would die without the ocean, and yet you walk past rubbish.
You better pick up rubbish.
Yeah, it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah, and don't be shamed to
it's
pick
your
up rubbish.
kuleana. Yeah, it's your kuleana.
Because I chase rubbish around the parking lot all the time, and you should too.
We almost got hit today on West Kuyaha.
What?
Yeah, a box fell out, and we were just picking up some rubbish, and somebody almost hit us.
Well, you made
slow down.
Rubbish. Okay, another public service announcement. Please slow down, according to Kamalani.
It's known. There's popo everywhere.
That's a good popo. Okay, so anyways, Kamalani and I grew up in Keanae, and I think that we feel really passionate about our homeland and our aina, and so that's why we're kind of just giving you a little bit of heat and a little bit of, a little bit of direction. We'd like to play a video for you entitled Testing the Waters, and it's just a video of me and Kama in Keanae in our element, and in the video we are just basically swimming in the ocean because that's a good thing to do. It doesn't require unnatural energy. All you got to do is just get out there. So please watch our video entitled Testing the Waters, and don't judge us. Kamalani.
It'll be on in just a second.
Kamalani looks kind of funny in the video, but that's okay. You're like this. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
People understand. But from commercial fishing to just surfing on the beach, you need to malama. Don't take too much. I mean, we understand that we have commercial fishermen in Hawaii that make money, but it's hard to hear that there's people.
Cut.
I'm here, super duper duper cut, all up in the mix like what I stay blazed like roses. Even if I never said it, you should probably know this by now. What they gon' make up? Every time I read about some shit they make up. If I ever saw them black dynamite them, then they'd have a reason to say why they never like them. As the lights of the cars go by in a stream, seems like I stand pretty much unseen, but I open my eyes and beams come out. Give me symphonies, give me more than the life I've seen. Just under your eye, a scrap of paper, thin as vapor, filling my clothes like smoke. A couple of the wires in my heart are broke. I float, I miss something, nothing but dreams, schemes, moments wasted, taste I tasted, fate out.
That was fun for you. Was it fun for you, Kama?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is ways in which you can live aloha, because I guess we should give examples so that it's super easy and all you got to do is go do it. So number one, live aloha. You'd like to keep a positive mindset. just always be positive and just always think that, don't think negative thoughts. There's no reason to have to think negative thoughts. Just being in the state of mind is step one. Step two would be how you engage with your community and your environment. Hopefully you're nice to your fellow island neighbors. One way you could be nice to a fellow island neighbor, like, you know, just some guy in Paia.
In Paia?
Yeah, okay.
In Paia.
You're walking in Mana Foods and there's a guy.
And he's banging the drum in front of Ono Gelato and you're just walking by and he gets louder. Just be like,
yeah.
And walk by.
Give him some extra good vibes.
Yeah, but he needs to leave by 11 p.m.
You're funny. Mm. What other ways can you live aloha? You can help your neighbor. Like I already said, you need to go and meet them and you need to get on board with them and check on them, especially if they're elders, because you want to take care of your kupuna. They have a lot of knowledge that needs to be probably passed down. So if you see like an old uncle that's your neighbor and he's like the best cabbage farmer in the whole world, maybe you just want to go ask him, what's your secret, uncle?
And I'm sure he wants to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm sure he
well.
wants to share.
To teach.
Yeah. And
that's part of aloha is teaching others.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't, I think, just talk enough. You know, it's sometimes we all have our days, but just in the bank, or if some single mom is in front of the store and she's dropping everything, some people just
help her out, please.
Yeah, you give aloha. It's what you're meant to do.
Yep, it's what you're meant to do. And malama. Malama is the second subject, and we want to encourage everybody to, I know it's kind of hard to grow your own food because you need a lot of things to start that. So we want to just have everybody support local. And especially local food. So eat local. That's number 2 best way to malama, is to eat local, because you're supporting somebody who is on your island and is farming food most likely in the natural way. That's supporting, and that's basically your malamaing. So mahalo for malamaing.
Yeah, we have a lot of farmers out there. From Kula to Hana, Lahaina for mangoes. Yeah.
So there's a lot of food on this island, and eat the food on this island. You don't need to eat the food from the mainland from elsewhere.
It's just more waste to ship it here.
Yeah, and it comes in a box. You have to throw away the box.
And
you have to throw away the plastic.
For the boat and gas for
to go
fuel
get
for
it.
the plane. And,
right.
And some postage stamp, which is still a rubbish.
So we're just done with demanding stuff from afar. We just like to demand stuff from our island because that supports our neighbors. So support local, eat local, live aloha, love aloha. Kuleana is the number 3, and kuleana is responsibility. And I think that that's the sealing deal, which is if you can commit to kuleana, then that means you're committing to the other 2 things that just came before, which is aloha and malama. So that's
simple
the 3-step.
values.
Yeah, it's a 3-step system: aloha, malama, kuleana. And if you need any help in figuring out how you can further aloha, malama, and live up to your kuleana, you can go to revolutionaloha.com, and there's a small briefing about ways you can, you know, get active, get involved, and get with the program, because this is a very important program. Would you agree?
It definitely is.
Yes. I would like to play one more video. It's about where we come from and the water struggle that's going on there. Basically, in a nutshell, we grow cane on this island of Maui, and cane requires lots of water, lots and lots and lots of water. And the best place to get water is East Maui, where we live. And EMI is a subsidiary of Alexander and Baldwin. East Maui Irrigation trucks, transports, diverts water from Keanae, which is like really far, all the way to this side of the island, to town, to Kihei, to all over, to water the cane fields. And that takes away from the stream flow in our streams, where there are fish.
Opihi.
Yes, where there is food that we like to eat because it's healthy and nutritious and it came from the land. And so them diverting the water takes away from the streams, which in turn kind of leaves our streams less healthy.
Dry.
Dry, yeah.
They're called gulches.
In Honolulu, there is like often no water in that whole stream, and so you think about like that whole area where there's like no water.
Anything, the coral reef is affected.
No, anything that was in that area, like the opu that was swimming, and then like all of a sudden there's no water, you just like mock it.
They are market.
So we would like to restore the stream flow to East Maui. We'd like to restore it all, but I know that that's like that's unacceptable to A and B. They like need their water.
But it's
but I guess the water is for like county residents too. So you know we have to like share some, obviously, to be nice neighbors and take care of our island ohana.
Where's the diversion plans? That's a good question.
Well, basically, we would just like to restore our streams a little bit, please.
100%?
Okay, my sister says 100, but I'd like to restore them just at least a little bit more so that the like baby o'opu cannot, you know, have problems and we can continue to eat them and have a healthy diet and a healthy, happy life.
Hi'ilave on the Big Island was restored 100%.
Oh, yeah?
By Kanu Oka'ina.
They had something to do with that?
They had everything to do with it.
Okay, Kanu Oka'ina.
Example.
I was going to explain what Kanu Oka'ina is. Kanu Oka'ina is the charter school on the Big Island that Mahealani went to for a couple years.
The New Century, public charter school. It was run by Ku Kahakalau, as well as a bunch of other Hawaiians and just people indebted to opening charter schools.
And they had to do with the Hi'ilave.
Part of their water study. They had a water study program, or just a project within the school. It was high school and middle school students, and all they did was work down in Waipio. It was kind of like a revolution of just taking care of the land. That was their topic, and they restored 100% of Hi'ilave water flow. Nice. Back in the day too, like 2009.
Did you like help with that? Were you at the school?
I helped after. I learned a lot, actually before and after. But I wasn't part of I was part of the school, just not part of that project group. But example, they made history. Middle school students made Hawaiian history.
Well, hopefully we can establish another charter school here on Maui soon so that we can do that for Maui. Yeah, in Keanae in specific. Kawai Anu Ohaloa is the name of the organization in Keanae that is trying to reopen Keanae School because it's been shut down for about 5 years, probably more.
No, more.
Okay. Unfortunately, we were both students there when it was open.
I was the last class.
Oh, Mahealani was the last
We had 3 students in the whole school. And we were all related.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that the new organization can open up the school so that the 30-something kids that are in Keanae right now that have to be bused to Hana can go to school in their own town and not have to ride the bus for 3 hours a day. The next video we'd like to play is the NHLL. No, it's the Fighting for Water video, and it's about the East Maui taro farmers and their struggle for water and their hope for the return of their water so that growing kalo is not such a big deal. It's a little bit easier. No water for kalo is very unhealthy. Very unhealthy.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not good. We'll just look for the video real quick. Magical powers.
But what was our next topic?
Our next topic is recycling. What do you think about recycling?
We're talking on our way down here, and we're thinking everyone should know how to recycle. I mean, it's on the back of almost every bottle.
But some people don't know that you can recycle everything.
Almost everything.
Yeah, not just cans and bottles.
No, but the cap and the paper that's around the label.
And the cardboard box it came in.
Yep. And
yeah, so
straws.
Okay, plastic, cardboard, aluminum, glass. Please.
If you take a second to Google this, you will see all the numbers.
About what?
All the recycling numbers.
You mean for
in
the plastic?
Yeah, and it explains what is what.
But it
what is what type of plastic.
I know, but it
What is
doesn't
what type
matter.
of
You
board.
can recycle it all. You're the one that told me to just throw
No, yeah,
all the recyclables in there.
And if it's even recyclable, you can still, not instigating this, but you can still throw it in the recycle bin and people sort it for you after.
Yeah, just don't throw rubbish in there. That's not cool.
No rubbish, no batteries.
Yeah.
But yes, you pay for it. Your bottles. It's a bottle tax. And but what we were talking about on our way down here was pre-cycling, which is thinking about it before you purchase it.
Right.
We're giving an example is that if you were to carry around a bag with your Opala, with your trash all day, how much trash would you have? Would you have like a 13-gallon or would you have nothing? Some people live to understand that they can live without wasting anything, without creating garbage anyway. And so think about that when you're purchasing things online or just in the store, buying a bunch of toys that have plastic in it and stuff. You know, you can buy them a little more eco-friendly items.
Here's our video.
Here's our video.
It's ready now. Maybe. 4, 3,
Testing.
2.
Oh wait, what is this one?
What is this video that they're gonna play is called "Fighting for Water." It has Uncle Eddie Went on it.
Uncle Eddie Went, our kupuna from Wailua Nui.
Wailua Nui, who's very knowledgeable about water issues, and has been fighting for water like his whole life, which is a very unfortunate story. So just quit the drama. Return his water.
Return his water. He like drink water. He is thirsty. We're all thirsty.
I'm so glad that I had you on the show, Kamalani. You're the
We still have time.
What do you mean we still have time?
Uncle Eddie Went. Who is another kupuna?
And it means that this is for the community. This taro patch is very old. They've been farmed here from when they first farmed. Basically, looked like that 2 years ago. A year and a half now. I opened this area up a year and a half ago. And a lot of the taro I found along the sides here. When you walk along, you'll find little baby shoots, and that's how I started a lot of the patches. Is just finding the taro, and then I got given some great huli.
What's huli?
Huli is all the planting, the stalks is what we call huli. And there's my good friend the Akaku, the bird flying away. That's the animal guardian for the birds, as far as he watches over the ducks. You'll see him actually a few times. When I came, I had a wild dog before. He used to come, he ate some of my ducks. And then I would see the Akaku coming down. Twice I saw him coming down from the sky and chasing the dog away. That bird is pretty big. He's about 3 feet. Basically, it's like rice, you know, it needs water all the time. The reason why this one is dry is because I fertilized it, those two, and that one down there, and then the rest are kind of saturated. Because of the rain situation, I open them up so that I don't really overflood it. But this is moi. I grow 6 different types pretty much. Moi, lehua, ha'akea, manini ele, pico, and pili aloha.
Pili aloha?
Pili aloha. Yeah. I love that one. That one's a very good one too.
And what is the legend behind taro? Understand, I've heard it's brother or sister.
Yeah, we're descendants of taro from Haloa. And Haloa is from Papua and Wakea. It's a long story that would have to take at least like a half an hour of sitting down and talking, maybe even an hour. From Papua and Wakea to Haloa to Kalo. And we are Nakeki Okikalo, which are the children of this plant, because this plant is what has fed every generation. Nothing else was more sustainable. Fish wouldn't have fed enough of the Hawaiians. We didn't have rice, we didn't have bread, and this is our main staple, taro. And a lot of it is cooked and steamed and eaten in pieces. We make poi with it, you make kulolo. The leaf is more rich than spinach. People don't even know that. The leaf is more rich than spinach. It has like 4 or 5 more minerals and nutrients in it than just spinach.
And how do you prepare that?
The leaf, you just basically cook it. You have to cook it. You can't eat it raw. That's the only thing. And you just cook it until it breaks down. And then you can add in any type of meat or nothing. You can eat it just cooked like that with rice. It has a very, it has a nice leaf salt flavor, I'd have to say, because it has the salty with it. So it's more like a leaf with salty, natural salt flavor. And this is fresh water, so it's really amazing how it gives off the salt flavor.
It is amazing. Oh, thank you for sharing your aloha and your bounty of Mother Earth and how showing us.
Aloha, welcome back.
Welcome back, Maui.
Yeah, I was waiting for your
and Lanai.
Maybe. We're going to talk about a few of our memories as children of the moku of Ko'olau and Keanae. We would like to share a few little stories in order to convey the realism of everything. And
before that, we got to mention that that video that was shown wasn't actually
was not the one. It
Wasn't
was
the one. But
Uncle Keone talking,
from
and he's all right. He did a good job.
He did a good job.
Yeah, at sharing some knowledge with the
about
auntie.
Kalo and Keanae.
Okay, we would like to give a special shout out to Auntie Mahealani, who's in Phoenix right now, and she's watching us online at akaku.org. So yeah, if you want to tell anybody else to watch Napua and Kamalani on the Truth and Justice show in Hawaii right now, you can tell them to go to akaku.org, and we are streaming live, I suppose.
For a little bit more.
Yeah, for what?
5 more minutes.
7 more minutes. Here we go.
But that question.
Okay, the question is, what's your favorite memory?
Childhood memory.
Growing up in Keanae, and like you learned something really significant. You're like, wow.
Really significant?
Yeah, like, you know, a tradition or something from Tutu or whatever.
Okay, or a lesson.
I'll think of mine, and do you want to share yours first?
Yeah, well, my papa passed away, Harry Kumukua Pahukoa Jr., Uncle Jr., everybody called him, from Hana. He worked for EMI, but he always used to, when I lived with him in my tutu in Keanae, I was probably only 5 years old, if I remember, but I would come home every night to fresh fish or opai, and Tutu would steam some taro and put butter and like Hawaiian raw sugar all over, and it was just a dream come true. And like everything from our table was from the aina or from the ocean, and I just learned. I mean, I would go with him to throw net, and I would just watch and be his girl with the bucket or the knife and the Opihi bag, and it was just how I wish I could live every day. And it's what I strive to be. It's what I strive to make my meals every day, from the ocean or from the mountain, pig, deer, goat is good. But that's what I learned, is to just provide for my family or whoever's around me. If I can, I would help my neighbors, give my neighbors some avocados or sweet potatoes, pohole salad, whatever I can. Just, that's what my papa was.
Sustainable.
Sustainable. And always giving. He would always give plenty fish to everybody, clean, they're ready, and opihis and Ziploc, just here you go, just take it for your family. And my grandma, till this day, there's Keanae out there who just bring her fish, just to bring her fish. And
yeah, I have a really important thing to share about that action of just giving.
Giving.
Yeah, and I found in a book called Nakua Aina, which is one of my favorite books. It's written by Daviana Polmaikai McGregor. And she had mentioned and brought to my attention that in old Hawaii, we did not share and we did not like exchange and barter. It was all voluntary giving. And they just always believed that if you're always giving, then you're always receiving. And so that's a great idea, because I was thinking about like how we could like, you know, go back to more like trading and stuff in order to like help everybody out. But voluntary giving is a lot better than trading. I'd say it's like a lot less complicated. It is. It's super aloha too, so you remember that. One of my
childhood memories.
Memories, but it wasn't when I was a child. It was when I was like 20, and I started selling poi on the side of the road in town because my dad had all this extra taro. He had just opened up 32 new patches, so he was like, "What are we gonna do with all this taro?" And I was like, "Okay, we'll go try sell some to the outside guys." Yeah, so we made poi, and I don't know, it was a really real moment to have to learn how to put together the grinder, because we don't pound our poi by hand. We're not that super on it.
But the grinder is still complicated.
But yeah, the grinder is super complex, but I had to like learn how to make it work in order to grind my poi, and it was just really complicated, and you only learn it from Papa, and only Papa knows how to do it.
Yeah, only a few people know how
only
to do
Papa
it.
And like, you know, like Uncle Wade or Uncle Keanae or whatever. But so just that experience of going through that whole putting it together thing was one of my favorite memories, because who's gonna put together the grinder, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, somebody's gotta know how to do it.
Who's gonna make the throw net?
Right. So could you please, excuse me for spitting, could you please check in with your grandparents and your mom and your dad and everybody and figure out their traditions and learn their traditions and write it down or video it or take a picture of it so that it's documented and you know how to do it, because you want to know how to like cut a fish and you want to know how to like plant sweet potato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a video of that instead of something
instead
mental.
of like, I don't know. Okay, I don't want to mention.
Yeah. You know.
You know. So that's what I would like you to do. I would like you to learn what the traditions of your ancestors are, and please try and apply them in today's world so that we can live a little bit more indigenously. And therefore, by living indigenously, we are not harming the earth. Just to make it clear, if you live indigenously, you are saving the world. So save the world. I would love to thank my guests, Mahealani Pahukoa, who is my sister, and my mom, Faith Eubank. And I'd like to thank Auntie Mahea and Auntie Pili and Noah and Chase for setting all of this up and hosting us tonight. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that we taught you something. And I hope that we inspired you to be more aloha. Because it's all about aloha, revolution aloha, revolutionaloha.com. Go visit.
Malama, kuleana.
Shaka. So funny how we both just shaka.
I know.
Yeah, it was. I feel like KH1 or something.
What was it? NHKP. Napua Hueu and Kama Pahukoa.
Little do they know that we're sisters. Oh yeah, find us on Facebook,
Instagram,
Revolution Aloha.